Hi everyone, welcome here to my channel. My name is Fabiana and in today's video I'm going to be making this scarf for kids. It's a super cute scarf with a fox head face. Now for the fox head face, I already made this free tutorial and I'm going to be leaving the link down in the description below, and that's where I explain all the face features because I didn't repeat on this tutorial here. This tutorial is only how to put the scarf together. This scarf can also be made as a cat face features, or even if you like embroidering, you can make the dog features, you can make any animal face you would like to. For this tutorial here, and this is the difference in between both beanies, I'm be using the Sentro 40. The Sentro 40 makes this size, which is good for kids all the way to maximum 3 years old because of the width. And this beanie, then the one on the bottom, which is made on the Sentro 48, can be using for kids all the way to 7 years old. So these are the differences that you're gonna have if you make this scarf on a Sentro 48 or Adi 46, okay? It's gonna be a little wider, which doesn't matter really, you can make on a Sentro 48 as well. I'll be using my Sentro 40 today. I'll be using also these 3 colors of yarn. The weight of the yarn is worsted or size 4, and I'm going to be using 100 grams on the main color and 30 grams of the two accent colors. I'm going to leave the link down in the description below for the pattern. This is a set with the scarf and the beanie included. And if you purchase this pattern, please leave me a review on Etsy. I would love to see your photos as well. And if you purchase the book on Amazon, please leave me a review there. Your review of my work is really important for me to keep creating free tutorials for you. Just wanted to quickly show my book. This book is only for adult garments that you can find on Amazon. I'm now finishing the second book, which is only for kids. It's gonna be available in early September now, if you wanna go and grab both of them. I explain all the process of panel knitting and garment construction in both of these books that I have online now, okay? So let's get started with this tutorial now. It's a quick tutorial and you can make it in around 2 to 3 hours, and it's a beautiful gift for kids. Let's get started. So to start making this fox scarf, we are going to start from the tail. Let me show you here the drawing. So we're gonna start from the tail all the way up to the head. And so I'm going to be making a pointy tail just like this. And that's where I'm going to start. So I'm going to use the black here, but you can really use any color you prefer. You could use this color as well. I don't have much of this, so I decided to make it in black, okay? That's the only reason, really. So on the Sentro 40, and if you are using any other knitting machine, just be aware that's going to be a little wider, okay? And also use half of the stitches. If you are making on a, let's say if you are making this on a Sentro 48, you just divide by 2 and then you're going to have 24 stitches. Because I'm using the Sentro 40, I'm going to start here, and you should start with the same number of stitches independent of the machine you are using, and so I'm starting with 3 stitches only, just like this. You cast on normally, and then you make your way back, make sure the yarn is underneath here, and then put inside the yarn guide. We will be working panel all the way to the head, okay? So start with the same number of stitches in any machine you are making, but for this machine I'm going to increase and make the tail until I have 21 stitches casted on here, okay? Which is half of the number of stitches that this machine has. And then work 1, 2, and then 3 rows, and gonna, at the end of row 3, we're gonna start increasing. So I'm going to increase 1 stitch this way. I'm just gonna go 1 needle further and then make my way back. Only 1 needle, not 2, okay? Always make sure these loops are down on the bottom for you not to make a mistake and drop stitches, okay? And then here, same thing. I'm going an extra 2, but on the way back, that first one's gonna release the stitch, and then I'm going to be increasing only 1, okay? And then again, these loops, they tend to stay up high, so just make sure you put them down before you make the stitch, otherwise you drop it. That's the biggest reason why people drop stitches. And another reason why I go 1 needle further is just so the yarn goes underneath this place here, this tip here, so the yarn makes a loop around the first needle, okay? That's the only reason why. So I'm going to increase until I have 19 or 21 stitches. I think 19 is actually better. And the reason why I'm making 19 stitches only is because I want to increase the same amount of stitches on both sides, okay? Then 1 extra. This yarn is a little too thick for this machine, so I'm having to put the stitches down to the bottom every time I make them. But that's okay because it's only a few rows of this. So do this until you reach 19 stitches, and then I'll come back with you. We're gonna change the color and work the remaining part of the scarf. We're going to also talk about sizing, okay? And then when we have 19 stitches completed here, you just stop increasing, so you stop the row when you reach the last stitch. Make your way back. And let's make now, I'm having to pull it down every one of them. It's just a little too thick, this yarn, for this machine. And then after this row, after you finish increasing all the stitches, make 4 extra rows with the black color before you change to the white color. I'm gonna place my off-white yarn here in front of this. Now you don't need a massive tail for this because we're gonna be working with single crochets around it later. And then for this scarf, I calculated around 90 rows. You can make it longer if your child's older. I'm making this for around 5 years old all the way to 7. That should fit. And if you're making for kids that are younger, you might consider making around 80 or 70 something rows, okay? I'm gonna go slow here. You can also pull a little on the beginning. Make a little knot so it doesn't open. And then this is just gonna be straight. Now, I am not gonna be increasing anymore. And then after you made 110 rows, I made a little longer so it wraps around the head, and also you can put it through this part here. Okay, so after I made 110 rows, I'm going to be making 1 extra row just to finish there and start working on the tube mold. The reason I did that so I can work the same way you always work to make a beanie. That's why I went to the end here. And then reaching the end, what you do is you start casting on. So in front of the first needle and on the back, in front and the back, in front on the back, as you would cast on a beanie, a normal beanie. And then in front of this last one, put this down on the bottom and then start working your rows just like this. Now I'm going to be making 14 rows for the white part and then 12 rows to finish with the orange color. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 'So the rows will always start here. You can add a marker here if you need, okay, to know where you started the row. So make 14 now, and then change to the orange color. Make 12 extra rows, and then I'll come back just to bind off cast off the stitches from the machine. And then once you made the 12 rows, you can remove the yarn, leave a little tail so you can use for seaming later. And then make a full row without the yarn. As you can see, I placed a marker here where I started, so I know the last stitch is here, okay? Because it's not going to be the black one. And just make a full row without the yarn. Careful not to drop this first stitch here, I almost did. Make sure you go all the way to these ones up. Pull a little so the stitches are tight. And then start removing the stitches with a contrasting color of yarn and a tapestry needle. I always put my finger on the next stitch so it doesn't drop while I'm pulling the prior one. And then once you have a bit of space, you can remove more stitches at one time. So remove them all, and then I'll come back with you just to finish it off and make the face as well. And once you removed the scarf from the machine, that's what you're gonna have. Just so you know the length, I made a total here of 110 rows from here to here, not counting this part or this part here, okay? And the length, because this is gonna be folded, I'm gonna measure like this. The length's gonna be 70 centimeters or around 28 inches. If you want longer, just make more rows, okay? And another way to measure the length that you want is just wrap this around the neck, crossing like this, just like how it's gonna be. And then you can calculate the length this way as well. So if you have here like, let's say 80 centimeters, and that's what you want, the length for just the white part, it's gonna be around 160 rows, because you always have 2 rows in each centimeter, okay? Now after this, what I did was, because I want to finish binding off right where my tail is, so I just put all the stitches side by side to see where I had to start, and it was here. Just match one by one, so you know you're gonna finish at the right place. And then after that, all you have to do is just pull one inside the next one. This way. And this you can do with smaller hooks as well. I think they're actually a little better. The one I have here, it's a 4.5 millimeters, but you can be using 3 millimeters. Sometimes it's easier to do this part here, okay? And all you're gonna do is just pull one stitch inside another all the way till you reach the other side. This is how it's going to look like, and this is gonna be the ears of the fox head, as you can see here. So I'm going to finish all the way to the other side, and then I'll come back with you guys to make the next part of it. And then the next few things that I'm going to do is to add the face features here, exactly like I did for the beanie. And the beanie, I'm going to leave, and then just follow the beanie tutorial for the face features, okay? I'm not gonna repeat in this tutorial here. So I'm going to make all the face features before, and then I'm going to go ahead and finish the rest of the scarf. And then once you finish the face features, the next step's gonna be just make a full row of, even you can make single crochets or half double crochets. It's just to stop the curling, because as you can see, it's curling a lot. We want this to be wide open this way, okay? Okay, so right here where you had the marker before, if you have the marker still, just place the hook, make a crochet, slip knot, and then pull it through. And then make a single crochet. Then skip one row and into the second row with another single crochet. And then always skipping one row, because the crochet stitch is a little bigger stitch than the two knitted rows, so we always skip one, otherwise you'll have too many stitches at the end, okay? So I'm going to be making this. As you can see, it already stops the curling a little, and when you steam after, you can steam the entire piece, and with the steaming, this will stop even more, okay? So I'll be doing this all around, even with the tail here, and then I'll come back with you guys to just finish it all. And this is how it's like after making the crochet all around it, and it's still curling a bit, but you can steam it, so after steaming it's gonna get much better. Even the stitches, they'll look more even as well. You can always do this to just put the stitches on their place. Sometimes it works to correct the tension a bit as well. So I finished here, this one of the sides of the yarn, and then with this one that I casted on, the yarn's gonna run through all the stitches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull to this side as well, and then I'm going to cinch the bottom part of it this way. I'm going to cinch, then I'm going to cut and make a knot here, and then flip over and just seam this with this part here. But let's first finish this. So pull the whole thing, cut it sort of like here, and then pull it. You can either make a knot with this other one, really. I think it's even better. Just make a knot so it's tied and it won't open. Okay, hide this tail through here. Cut it. And then that's when we are going to make a knot here as well. I'm just gonna leave these tails for now in case I want to use it later. And then just find a row here to seam like this, always on the same row, and leaving that pocket like I said before. Try not to take too much of the scarf because it's already short, okay? So I'm going to leave sort of like this and start my seaming here. So this is around, I would say, 20 rows from the beginning. Then just make a knot here. Make sure when you seam it, I don't want to seam all the way to the edge of the beanie. And always also make sure when you seam it, the white doesn't go all the way to the other side, okay? Just go through one layer only. Otherwise, it's gonna show in front of the beanie, and you don't want that. Just make sure you look every time, because, you know, sometimes you're not aware. You might want to seam this a little. And that's why I actually left the tail. Just go through this same row here. Just like this. Yeah, perfect. And then you can just make another knot here. So this is how the scarf looks like. I did do a little bit of steaming, and that's why it's flat like this. So the steaming will help a lot to stop the curling on this scarf here. Put it on and take it off just by doing this. And if you follow this tutorial along, you might want to make the fox head beanie that can have also cat face features. You can use the cat face features for the scarf as well if you prefer cats, or even dogs. If you go online and search for dogs, you can probably make the same way, just because they all have the little ears that can be copied for a few other animals as well. I'm going to leave the link for you guys to make this free beanie tutorial. This little one here was made on a Sentro 40, and it will fit kids all the way to maximum 2 years old, 2 to 3 years old. And if you make the bigger one on a Sentro 48, it's gonna fit kids that are older. So this is gonna be the next video available for you guys here in the link down in the description below. If you watched this video all the way to here, thank you all for watching, guys. Thank you for being here and being part of my community. I have a Facebook group that's linked down in the description below, where you can share your images of things you made with my free tutorials as well. Thank you all for watching, guys, and I hope you have a beautiful weekend ahead. Bye.